Tell us about these internships that you had and how you found them. I think that was an important stepping stone in your being qualified to work what you're doing right now.
I had my first internship my sophomore year of college. During the fall, I worked for a startup nonprofit that worked to empower young people across the country to solve the global water crisis. And so it was, grassroots work, and every day it was brainstorming those big dreams, but also just being on the phone with high schools from around the country and asking them to join us in partnership in what we believed we were doing, or in the cause that we were fighting towards, and hoping that others would join us in that. And that was a really unique experience, getting to see a nonprofit start up and really get its legs. And then I knew I've always been interested in politics. And at this time, I was actually going to school out in Southern California. And so those conversations were very dynamic and frequent, and I really enjoyed them. So I knew I wanted to get an internship in the public sector. So once I transferred to Texas A&M in College Station, I reached out to my congressman, who's has Texas A&M in his district, which is Congressman Bill Flores. And I reached out to his office. I looked him up and called up his office and said, "Hey, do you need an intern?" And they did. And so I filled out the application and then went through the process with them to allow me for that spring semester of my junior year to intern with them while going to school full time. Since his office was just down the road, it allowed me to do both at the same time, similar to my first internship. Loved getting a taste of the legislative branch of government, but knew I wanted to continue to learn in a different space, because as college students, we're given a unique opportunity to, try a piece of all the entrees on the table. And I really, really wanted to capitalize on that. And so I applied. I looked up online, does the White House have an internship program? And they did, and I planned it out, and I applied, and somehow got accepted. And so the fall of my senior year of college, I took a gap semester, which was a risk, but I moved to Washington, D.C., and interned at the White House full time. And then after that, I went back to Texas A&M to finish up and graduate. And then once I moved back to DC after graduation, I, again, was an intern on Capitol Hill for a few weeks before landing my full-time job. So it was a lot of, all over the place, but in my mind, I felt really pointing me in the direction that I was wanting to go. They were each little steps towards where I was trying to be.
Right. Were all of these unpaid internships, some of them paid, some of them unpaid? Tell me about the mix there.
3 of the 4 were unpaid. One of them was paid. So that meant, throughout college, I had to work as well. So oftentimes I found myself doing school, doing an internship, and then working a side job as well to mitigate some of, daily cost and life. Graciously, I had parents who supported me throughout college, but there are things that you definitely need money for, and it was a good tool to learn time management and prioritization, having to juggle oftentimes all 3 of those things at once.
Which of those 4 was the paid internship?
The nonprofit, actually.
No kidding. The first one.
Yes, absolutely. The very first one.
Wow. I would not have guessed that.
I know. Me either. But was very grateful that it was paid at the time.
And how did you get the one on the Capitol Hill? Was it with your congressman again that you had worked with another one, or was it a different?
It was the same congressman. So I knew his district team. So it was a little bit of a natural progression, then worked with his
So it was a second internship with the same congressman, but in his Washington office rather than back there in the district.
Got it.